The United States military says it killed 2 suspected drug traffickers in a strike on a boat in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. U.S. Coast Guard is searching for a 3rd person who survived the attack. U.S. Southern Command says intelligence showed the vessel was traveling along known narcotics trafficking routes and engaged in drug smuggling operations when it was hit. Video released by the military shows the multi-engine boat being destroyed. This is the first strike of its kind since late last year, and the first since U.S. forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife in early January, bringing them to the United States to face trial. The operation is part of a campaign launched by the Trump administration in September, targeting alleged drug boats. Till date, U.S. forces have carried out 36 known strikes on suspected drug smuggling vessels in waters, killing at least 117 people. This, according to U.S. military and White House announcements. Most of these strikes have taken place in the Caribbean. Officials have framed the campaign as a fight against narco-terrorism operating out of Venezuela. However, the United States has not provided conclusive evidence that the vessels were involved in drug trafficking, prompting questions about the legality of the strikes. Meanwhile, Venezuela's interim president Delcy Rodriguez says that over 600 inmates have been released, far more than estimated by rights groups who are demanding the liberation of all political prisoners.
I would also like to report that, as of today, 626 people who had been deprived of their liberty have been released from prison. There are anti-political sectors that have failed to understand the moment. There are sectors that persist in manipulating and maneuvering.
The move follows the U.S. military ouster of Maduro, after which the government pledged to free a large number of Maduro opponents. Foro Penal, a leading Venezuelan rights group, said it had counted 155 political prisoners released, mostly since Maduro's overthrow, and estimated that over 700 people were still being held. Venezuelan interim president also said that she will ask the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights to verify the number of prisoners released in her country. The families of 2 Argentines detained in Venezuela appealed to the Vatican to intervene, urging it to help speed the release of their loved ones.
I think all the paperwork we can do is important, even if it's, I don't know, a letter or an intermediation. And before the Apostolic Nunciature from here in Buenos Aires, I think it has been important for us to be listened to. These liberations, drip-fed like a dropper, wear out the families as they create the illusions that they will get out soon, but they haven't got free yet. For example, in the case of Nahuel Agustin, who has been for 401 days in forced disappearance in Venezuela.
In related news, the United States announced that General Dan Kane will host top military leaders from 34 countries in Washington on February 11th. Officials say the meeting will strengthen regional cooperation, reinforce partnerships, and promote joint efforts to counter criminal and terrorist organizations. Venezuela's government leadership marched on Friday with supporters in Caracas to commemorate the anniversary of a 1958 popular uprising that overthrew military dictator Marcos Pérez Jiménez. Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello led the rally and said the fight will end when we bring President Maduro back.
Let's make our people capable of being in the street. Let's make our people capable of joining the fight, as the fight will end when we bring Nicolás Maduro and Cilia Flores back with their people. To the comrade Delcy Rodriguez, we must constantly, permanently support her, as she's been at the forefront putting the face.